Alrighty, a very happy Friday, and welcome to another episode of the TNC Sports Talk. My name is Justin, and I hope everyone has had themselves a good week. I know I have. It's nice and sunny outside. It feels warm out there, and it's just a clear indication, you know, winter's almost over. Spring is here. Baseball is here. March Madness tournament is here. World Baseball Classic has just began. And if you're a sports fan, this is the perfect time of the season. Usually it's around this time. And it's also around, I'm going to say, September, October, when there's, baseball and football and all that other fun stuff. So I'm excited. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll get you guys ready for a sports weekend around Cincinnati. I know the Bearcats baseball team played UC San Diego yesterday, and we'll get into that game. The men's basketball, they have a game coming up tomorrow at TCU in Fort Worth, Texas. We'll talk a little bit about that, get you guys ready for that game and how you guys could tune in. But and then we'll get you ready for Cincinnati baseball spring training weekend. And I was just instantly thinking for a moment, and something that will kind of just revisit the conversation a little bit today. It has to be the scare of what results come back from Hunter Green's elbow injury. And I'm pondering over, and every day I sit, I'm just sitting on my hands trying to be patient and calm as we wait, but this is a game changer for the Reds this season. And it may push them to make moves early on. It may push them to be more resourceful. We talk about opportunities and everything else that comes through it. But man, it's gut wrenching. We see Ellie De La Cruz and Suarez and Matt McClain. They're having the time of their lives this spring. And that's the great thing about baseball, the commodity that, we want to see these players come together and win ball games. And sure, spring training, there's nothing really all that excited to watch, or to you really talk about, right? All the stuff we could get excited come opening day when the Reds actually showcase what they're capable of. But it's moments like these when you could put up 17 runs and you can win ball games against good opponents that can bring a team together, create motivation, and create charisma that leads and sparks into this season and also down in AAA and AA and so on. So when we hear a news about one of our ace pitchers getting hurt, I got to be honest with you. I am definitely struck out on this at the moment, but we'll talk about that here a little bit more in length. WWE had some news coming out yesterday. I'm going to take you to a Sports Illustrated article written by Blake Lovell, released earlier this morning about the reports and the reasonings why Road Dogg Brian James has officially departed from the WWE. Not necessarily all that. It's not blockbuster news. Okay. It really is not. Things happen. I'm going to learn this as much as you are learning. So if you don't know this, we're just going to walk through it together. It was reported yesterday on Thursday that James has left the company in what was a surprising move by many WWE fans. As we know, Road Dogg is part of the New Age Outlaws, part of D-Generation X. After his time in the ring, he has stepped into the creative position and has been working with the WWE behind the scenes, creating storylines, putting on matches, and maybe it's not clear of who, what we're seeing him tie along into with these storylines, but he is tied along. WWE Hall of Famer was most recently featured in Season 2 of WWE Unreal, playing a key role as a co-lead writer to SmackDown. Both Body Slam and PW Insider reported that James exiting WWE was his decision. Okay? That's something that we need to learn. Now, there are more details on the potential release behind this move. According to the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, James received his annual review from the WWE and wasn't happy with it and left. One source close to the situation noted that the situation has been brewing. Meanwhile, it is also revealed that on Thursday that Alexandria Williams has been promoted to the new head writer of Raw. The report states that although the news both broke at the same time, one has nothing to do with the other. Williams is now reported as one of the head writers of the WWE creative team, joining Ryan Ward and Jonathan Bigstrom, which, to be honest, I have no idea who any of them are. Maybe we should. James has been with the WWE for over a decade in variety roles. The creative shakeup comes amidst lower than anticipated ticket sales for WrestleMania 42 at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas in April. So what does WWE Creative has planned for WrestleMania 42? With James on the SmackDown and Williams on Raw, well, there could be more changes in the direction on the road to WrestleMania of the biggest show of the year. WrestleMania 42 Night 2 main event is set to have Roman Reigns take on and challenge CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship after the Tribal Chief won the 2026 Men's Royal Rumble match. We also now know that the two men's title matches, Liv Morgan, who won the Women's 2026 Royal Rumble match, will face Stephanie Valkyrie for the Women's World Championship match, and Rhea Ripley will challenge Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship match. However, beyond the Brock Lesnar Open Challenge, there is still a lot left to be determined with WrestleMania 42's match card. One of the key matches will set on Friday Night SmackDown, Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Undisputed Championship against Cody Rhodes. Orton, who won the Men's Elimination Chamber match, is slotted to face the winner at WrestleMania 42. WWE also reported that it has plans for a 14-16 match card, which could feature a record number of women's matches on the show. All right, so here's what we know from this article. You got to go check it out yourself. It's on Sports Illustrated. What I'm taking away from this article is that Road Dogg, Brian James, has gotten his annual report. He's on SmackDown. He's leading the team to SmackDown to story writing. And he's got his annual report from last year. And apparently, WWE is not necessarily so pleased with his performance. And this has probably been expressed more than once. I'm not going to make any assumptions, but it indicates that within this article that James has had issues and not really so happy with what is given to him or whatever the case may be. And based off of his last performance, he has decided to leave the situation. It's unfortunate. This is where friends can't be friends. We got to put friendships aside and be business partners. And sometimes business partners doesn't always see eye to eye, or it doesn't get well received. We've had numerous conversations throughout the month of February with the result of WrestleMania 42's match card, the ticket sales, and so on and so forth. And if you ask me today, there's only 5 match cards, and only 3 of them have been certain, confirmed, and ready to go. Right? We have the World Heavyweight Championship, Roman versus CM Punk. We have the Women's World Championship between Liv and Stephanie Valkyrie. Rhea Ripley taking on Jade Cargill for the Women's WWE Championship. We have the WWE Championship as Randy Orton will now face the winner of Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. We'll give you our predictions here later on in this hour. And we have the Brock Lesnar Open Challenge. And the reason why I say 3 have been confirmed is because we don't know who's going to win tonight, and if that's even going to be the final stretch. We also don't know who is Brock Lesnar's opponent, right? So we still have those questions. What we don't have questions about, what we know is certain to the match card, is 3 matches. Now, I just want to cover this before I forget it. 14 to 16 matches for 2 nights, I feel is a pretty large amount. 5, 6 matches each night, I think is perfect. I don't know how the WWE is going to pull it off over, the next 7 weeks? And if so, does it make any sense to some of the storylines? But let's look at the picture here. Look at Raw. Can you name me any predictable matches on Raw right now that's leading into WrestleMania in 7 weeks? Well, we got Brock Lesnar. We got the Masked Man, which is now we know it's Seth Rollins, and he's going after the Vision. He just curb stomped Paul Heyman. I know there was something about possibly seeing Seth and Brock. I don't want to see that, to be honest. I want to see Seth either against Logan Paul or Austin Theory. Okay, so that's a potential match. We kind of started seeing the feud unravel between Dominic and Finn Balor. Danhausen cursed Dominic Mysterio. He ended up losing his Intercontinental Championship. And I guess you don't need a title between these 2 guys. I thought it would be cool, but you don't need it. That's a match on the card. Okay, Dom versus Finn, great match. What else am I thinking? Just off the top of my head from what I'm noticing. Now you also got to figure out, who's going to be your women's and men's Intercontinental Championship match, Penta, and who's going to challenge him. You also have the AJ Lee and Becky Lynch, which I feel like that feud will go into WrestleMania. You also have El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano Original, possibly Mask versus Mask. You also have Gunther. So I'm just racking up those potential storylines, and it feels like my hand's pretty heavy when it comes down to what Raw could bring to the table at WrestleMania 42. Now let's look at SmackDown. What does SmackDown bring to the table? Well, I'm really uncertain about who's going to win the WWE Championship, but you have that. That will be already in place. If Drew loses, does he go on to face Jacob Fatu? And that's 1 match. The Uncle Howdy and Solo Sikoa feud that's been going on for months on end. And I think people don't even want it to go out to WrestleMania. I feel like we're tired of it. We want to see conclusions now, but we're going to get it pushed out a little further than that. Trick Williams, I feel like, doesn't have a place at the moment. And I feel like, and to be honest, if you're thinking about me, and this is picturing the time back in NXT, and I think of people, it's hard to be a fan and to see here and read something, fans ain't, just ain't buying it, or they don't know who they are, this and that. I'm not oblivious, and if you are oblivious to who and what Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams done down at NXT, then I think you're more of an amateur fan than anything else. And I'm not talking about those kids under the age of 20. So I would be opposed to see Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. I could see a ladder match, whatever, to fill in the time as well. You got the Women's Tag Team Championships, which I'm assuming they'll take the titles off of Rhea Ripley. I couldn't see her. Maybe she could wrestle both nights. It's been done before. But overall, SmackDown's hand is a little bit lighter. SmackDown has not pushed towards new storylines. Not has pushed towards developing, I'm not saying developing talent. I feel like that's maybe far-fetched. Fair enough to say. But it's kind of been running a repeat. You got the Open Challenge with Carmelo Hayes. You have the women's tag team matches, and I think they're great. You've had Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six taking on Solo Sikoa and his faction, which was fine, but how much more can you elevate that? Then we look into, well, what does the tag team division look like? Then we look into, the Drew McIntyre is trying to sabotage Cody Rhodes. I don't know if this is a perfect time, but the WWE feels like, Brian James, and I'm interested to hear exactly what he has to say about this. But SmackDown, let's be honest, it's not as movement. It's not a big movement. It's not moving forward to creating great storylines. Now, I do like WrestleMania. I do like this build-up. It's kind of thrown in a little bit of a twist. But I also see the WWE putting SmackDown on the back burner. SmackDown is limited. And the moment that Raw needs somebody from SmackDown, or the storyline needs to change to go to Raw, SmackDown is set to suffer. Maybe the decision was to, hey, coming into this year, we need a splash. Well, why not put Drew McIntyre as champion? So we did that. That didn't really turn out as promising as we hoped. So what was the next big thing? Let's find, how can we kind of make this up? Give the option to Cody Rhodes and then put the title back on, or give the option to Randy Orton, have him win an Elimination Chamber and put the title back on Cody Rhodes. There just is not much support beam holding up what SmackDown has to offer. And so it could be a love-hate relationship, but all I know is that this is what is next and what's best for business. And that's all it is. I don't think it's anything personal. I don't think it's anything that we need to cry sheep about. This isn't a Ron Killings firing either. This is simply what we are intended to see, and some changes have to be made. Now, like I mentioned, I don't think the WWE could go 14, 16 matches per night, or not per night, per total for WrestleMania. It's not impossible, but I don't see that happening. But I guess I'm going to wait to see what happens, and I think it starts off tonight. Let's talk about tonight. SmackDown is live from the Moda Center in Portland, Oregon. Tonight's show is massive implications heading into WrestleMania as Drew McIntyre defends his WWE Championship against Cody Rhodes, and we'll take a look at that and some other things. So, Carmelo Hayes is going to host another U.S. Championship Open Challenge match. Who's going to step up with that? Rhea Ripley comes to SmackDown. She will confront, since winning the Women's Elimination Chamber match, she will be confronting Jade Cargill, opposed to their match at WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre has to face that match against Cody Rhodes later tonight. Yeah, I think also, if I'm not mistaken, we will see we also will see Solo Sikoa and Uncle Howdy come to terms. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the women's segment. I'm intrigued. I think though they could cut great promos. I think the stage is set. Rhea, Jade, great. I just wish they gave us a reason to build off of it. And maybe that's something that we will see over the next few weeks is this build. Rhea Ripley has dominated Raw, has dominated the WWE. She's gone on and main evented WrestleMania before. She's held that spotlight, solid in the foundation of the women's division. She was the force to be reckoned with. Well, guess what? Jade Cargill, who's taken some time to get into things, she is the dominant person. She is the one who's going to run this women's division. So does Rhea Ripley reclaim her throne, or does this belong to Jade Cargill? And then that's going to be what I kind of instantly right now heading into tonight, I feel like that's what we're going off of. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But that's one thing that we'll have to tune in and find out, right? Carmelo Hayes opening up a United States Championship Open Challenge. I think at the beginning of this, you want to see a fighting champion. You're giving SmackDown a title match on a weekly basis. And I like that. I like that idea. But I feel like that is all there is. I feel like we are in a position where after some time, after seeing the same guys over and over and over again, I'm ready for the next thing. What is the next thing? What you do after, let's say, 6 to 8 months with this is that you're telling me that you don't have a true storyline with Carmelo Hayes. You don't have a storyline to carry water with some of the guys backstage. So you have Carmelo, who's the champion. He goes out there and he holds on to what I would say is the title. And you put a match on the card, giving men an opportunity to showcase themselves. But you're not going anywhere with it. It looks okay on Carmelo because he's overcoming anyone who steps up to him, but there's no other challengers. I would love to see Trick Williams in this position. I feel like the setup has to be either a return or something great. And I don't know who right now in backstage can elevate this United States Championship match. Carmelo Hayes, bring the best out of him other than Trick Williams. When you look at what's heading to WrestleMania, Trick Williams and a Carmelo Hayes is a perfect opportunity. So that's what I would like to see. I'm not saying that Trick Williams has to be his open challenge opponent tonight. I feel like we already know that the WWE Championship is already taken. We know that Trick Williams doesn't have right now a road to WrestleMania, and so far he's showcasing that he deserves a match at WrestleMania. So how does that happen? Well, let's also add along that guys like Aleister Black and Damian Priest, they don't have any storylines heading into WrestleMania. Do they mingle together in a sense for something in a multi-man feud? All right, let's talk about this WWE Championship match. I saw something on social media that I really liked. It was a prediction about how tonight's going to go. So you're kind of asking yourself, well, which one makes sense? And I asked on TikTok, I can pull it up here in a little bit, but I asked on, or not TikTok, but Twitter, who is going to win between Drew and Cody Rhodes? Let's see if I have any pollings. Right now, it's about a 50-50 split. After thinking about it all week long, I have to predict and root for Cody Rhodes. It is the only thing that makes sense heading into WrestleMania. Unless we're going to see a fatal four-way match that includes Jacob Fatu. But it's a lose-lose situation, if you ask me. If you keep the title on Drew McIntyre, then I feel Jacob Fatu has to be involved. Maybe they hold a triple threat match for the WWE Championship and no decision. Maybe that leads into it. But it's a clear indication to me that a fatal four-way is among us. I've been boldly said this all week long. Every time Drew is out there attacking Cody Rhodes, ever since he won the WWE Championship, it's been nothing but an act of cowardice. He is trying to take out the top dog on SmackDown because he's afraid of Cody Rhodes because he knows he can't beat Cody Rhodes on a one-on-one statue. So he tried to cost him at the Royal Rumble. He tried costing him, in a singles competition. And I think it's a great perspective as a heel for Drew McIntyre to do so. But that buildup only leads back to what we see here tonight. So if Drew wins, I have to see Jacob Fatu. That's a certainty. Whether Drew wins or not, Jacob Fatu's involved. Now let's say you push on, we're going to change the storyline a little bit. We're making that pivot left turn into left field. And we say Cody Rhodes gets the title back and we go on to see Cody and Randy Orton at WrestleMania. To utilize everybody, you have Jacob cost Drew McIntyre that match. It goes into Drew or Jacob revealing that Drew was the one who ambushed Jacob months ago, and that leads into a WrestleMania feud. I like that. I don't mind it. It's a storyline. It's not your main event storyline, but it's a storyline. So which one would you rather see unfold here tonight? Would you prefer to see Drew McIntyre retain his WWE Championship? And the ideal moment, I don't think it's going to sell. I don't think tickets sell for Drew and Randy. Tickets sell for Cody and Randy, but not Drew and Randy. So but I feel like tickets would sell if it was Drew, Randy, Cody, and Jacob. So, but it would be sell more so. So that fatal four-way match fits for me right down in the middle. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But if it's just Drew and Randy, I don't think it sells. So if Drew wins, I have to assume that we build up for a fatal four-way match. That this continues and continues to unfold weeks on end. Cody wins, I see two different directions, and then we could revisit it. The reason I say that this is a lose-lose situation is because if you give Drew the title, you're not going to give this big pop from the crowd that you want. It's going to sell tickets. People are going to watch it, but it's not going to resonate the same as people want. Everyone right now is focused on Cody and Randy. That instant change from Randy winning the Elimination Chamber, from Cody, Nick Aldis announcing that Cody and Drew is going to have this title match. People want Cody and Randy at WrestleMania. That's going to be your number one spotlight when it comes to selling tickets out of any scenario that you put in front of this. If not, Drew wins. Or, the point is that a fatal 4-way keeps Cody in that spotlight, puts Randy in there. It takes off of everybody, and you could have a way to either Cody not pinning Drew or some sort of shenanigans happen heading in at WrestleMania. But it's a lose-lose for everyone, because now you're taking away either from the WWE Universe or you're taking away from Drew McIntyre. And you take away from Drew McIntyre, and sure, the storyline could be there for Drew and Jacob, but, he just got done carrying the title for the last 2 months, and I don't know, heading into this, what their direction is. But that's what's great about SmackDown right now tonight. You don't know. It's not predictable. Maybe afterwards, oh yeah, that could have been predictable. Sure, I understand, but it's not predictable. But I have Cody winning. I'm all invested in Cody and Cody and Randy at WrestleMania, and then you push Drew over to Jacob Fatu. It's going to disappoint somebody, whether you're a fan base, whether you're a wrestler, whether you're a story writer, whether it's TKO, whether it's AEW. I don't know, but it's going to upset somebody. You can't please them all. But I feel like the best for business is in this direction. Before we get on to our next segment and conversations as we get you guys ready for sports around Cincinnati over the weekend, I want to give you a quick conversation about what's going on this weekend. It is the final weekend of the theater production Grassroots, presented by Enlighten Studios. Grassroots is written and directed by Terry Chappell II, and we'll have 4 performances over the next 3 days, beginning tonight at 7 p.m. You can come check them out. You can get your tickets at the door. You could also get your tickets by visiting tickettailor.com. A link will be provided in the description below. I encourage you guys to come out, take a look at this production. It was a great experience back in weekend 1 last weekend. I had a blast. The story just resonates over and over and over again. That clear message, of changes when neighborhoods come together. I encourage you guys to check it out and come out and say hi to me if you guys see me there, and I want to hear your experience. But Grassroots going on from tonight through Sunday, 2 performances on Saturday, 1 at 2, 1 at 7, and then we'll wrap things up on Sunday at 2 o'clock. So please come on out and check us out. Also, would like to just give a quick shout out. This is not a sponsorship reading. This is not a PR reading from anyone, but we do want to give our shout outs to Riverside FM. Riverside is our studio module that provides us to be able to go live stream on social media platforms like we are on Facebook, or on our YouTube channel. Hello there. Please, Riverside offers a lot more. So it's a simple studio, allows you to have pop-ups like today's date and statements, allows you to add music or adds, brand logos or overlays and this and that, and something that we will, on air, things to do. That's, all great. Let's see what we, we'll have to figure that out. But, man, it is a, we are thankful for that. It also offers kind of some editing options after productions. So we can, so that we could kind of clean up our tuning if we want to add stuff, overlays and whatnot. We could also we could sit here and, Riverside makes magic clips. Excuse me, I got distracted with all this stuff here. We are live and all that fun stuff. Anyways, so we're able to, in magic clips, they pull out short segments, short videos, and allows us to post them. If you guys are into new podcasting, if you guys are new into sports talk or whatever talk show you guys are into, I suggest checking Riverside out. They have great affordable options to present, and they really meet all the needs that you can look forward to. So which is recommend checking them out here for all your podcasting needs. All right, let's get down into business. Let's talk about Cincinnati sports, basketball. Let's get into basketball. Earlier this week, the Bearcats took on BYU at home on senior night, and they beat BYU. Final score 90-68. They wrap up their season tomorrow at 2 p.m. at Fort Worth, Texas, taking on TCU in the Big 12 matchups. It is available on TNT, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You want to check them out. And then before we head into March Madness and that bracket tournament, I want to check that out here real quick. We'll do that here in a minute. But Cincinnati's baseball continues underway. They just began a 4-game series last night against UC San Diego at the UC Baseball Stadium. With all the rain, it got pushed back until later in the evening. I believe they end up winning that game. Yeah. There we go. Where are we at? Where are we at? There we go. Yeah. They ended up winning 9-5. It was on ESPN Plus. It was what was it? Quinn Cole. Let me check out his name real quick. I'm gonna go box score PDF. Quentin Cole had 2 blasts out to. One was out off the scoreboard in right field. The other one was out off of in left center field. And when I say this was a blast, like these were it was not like it was not it was they were monstrous. He ended up having 5 RBIs in yesterday's ball game. Is it 5 RBIs now? Come on, I just had him. Yeah, he had 5 RBIs. He did strike out twice, but it did improve to the Bearcats' win record yesterday. So the win goes to Nathan Taylor, and he picks up his first win on the year as Nathan Reese ends up picking up the loss. Chad Brown has had the save in yesterday's ball game, and they won 9-5. Now the Bearcats, they go on to a 10-4 record, while the 10-4 record. They have a 3-game winning streak. They are 4-1 at home, as they have 3 more games against UC San Diego today at 3 p.m. available on ESPN. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. available on ESPN. And then they wrap up a 4-game series on Sunday at 12:30 p.m. All times are subject to change. I say that because we are supposed to get some more storms heading into our area over the weekend. I know we got some storms yesterday, but then they will host the next week. They will host Evansville on Tuesday in the afternoon game before heading on the road to Utah to take on BYU in a 3-game series next weekend. And then they continue the road trip to Utah Valley, and then they'll be back home to Utah at home. So they'll be on the travel for a couple weeks. So that is our Cincinnati baseball. I want to check out real quick while I have a little bit of time. I do have a little bit of time. All right, let's see here. NCAA basketball bracketology. So March Madness is right around the corner, and these are predictions, not officially set yet, and it was just updated as of 11 o'clock this morning. They are predicting that Texas A&M and California will be in the first four, taking on each other in the East. Santa Clara will take on VCU in the Midwest. LIU taking on Bethune-Cookman in the East at ranked number 16, and the Midwest is Howard versus UMBC. And so those would be the first four to play into the tournament before the tournament begins. This is based off of CBSSports.com, and just kind of looking at what we have options out there to begin with. We see in the East, I don't see Cincinnati. I don't think Cincinnati will make the tournament. I do see Louisville. I do see Miami, Ohio. I see Kentucky. That's kind of it. I don't know. We'll get more into conversations as the bracket fills out and the season completes. We'll probably come up on Monday and have an update for that. But what are you guys looking into this bracket season when it comes down to sports? March Madness tournament. All right. NHL trade deadline comes in also today, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out on CBS Sports the latest news, who gets traded, and all that fun stuff as they continue with getting closer to the back end of the season. All right, let's get down to baseball. All right. So today we've seen Japan demolish Taipei. And the headlines coming out of this morning, they beat them 13-0. And the headlines was Shohei Ohtani, who went 3 for 4, had a home run, a double, 5 RBIs, and a run to his resume. Total of 18 bases, a stolen base, and 13 hits as they put up 13 runs as they beat Taipei. That was earlier this morning. Japan's 1-0. Sits fourth in the Pool C, and Chinese Taipei is 0-2 in the Pool C as well. Other games going on currently right now as we speak. In the top of the second inning, Netherlands is trailing Venezuela 1-0. And then in the middle of the fifth inning, Cuba is leading Panama 3-0. The Netherlands versus Venezuela is available on Tubi, while Cuba versus Panama is available on FS2. And this is pretty interesting. So from what I've learned so far in the World Baseball Classics is that if you're leading more by 15 runs, I believe, before the fifth inning, then the game is called. If it's 13 or 10 runs or more by the seventh inning, then the game is called. So you have some blowout games here that we can see. As far as the schedule goes, let's just look at the scores. USA plays tonight, I believe. Yeah. USA plays tonight at 8 p.m. We have Mexico taking on Great Britain coming up at 1. Puerto Rico taking on Colombia at 6. That's available on FS1. Both of them are available on FS1. Nicaragua take on Dominican Republic in FS2. And on Fox tonight at 8 p.m., we'll see USA take on Brazil in the World Baseball Classics. That is all coming to you today. On Saturday, USA will take on Britain at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have Israel taking on Venezuela at 7 p.m. That is on FS2. FS1 is Panama versus Puerto Rico at 6 p.m. On the Fox app, Brazil takes on Italy at 1 p.m. at noon. Nicaragua takes on Netherlands. On Tubi, FS2 at 11 a.m. Colombia takes on Canada. Korea versus Japan on FS1 at 5 a.m. It will be Korea versus Japan, Colombia versus Canada. It's also all that fun stuff. We'll have to recap it on Monday. All right. As of yesterday, the Cincinnati Reds had a back and forth battle with the Los Angeles Dodgers. It was, I think it was a pretty good game. Um, Reds put up 4 runs in the first, 2 runs in the second, 4 runs in the fifth, and then they put up 4 runs in the ninth. And it was a walk off by Reese Hines. Let's get you down to the scoring drive. Santiago hits a sacrifice fly out to right field to score in JJ Bleday, and for the Dodgers, and Alex Call scores, and Dodgers lead 1-0. Ellie De La Cruz hits a home run out to center field, and a 2-run home run to take the lead. It's 2-1. Benson hits a 2-run blast out to center field as well, scoring in Spencer Steer to extend their lead of 4-1. Matt McClain hits a 2-run blast out to left center field, scoring in Christian Encarnacion Strand, gives the Reds a 6-1 lead in the second. We jump down to the bottom of the fifth inning, where Nathaniel Lowe homers to right center field, scoring in Matt McClain and Ellie De La Cruz, and then moving them up to 9 runs. They end up trailing the Dodgers 11-9. Christian Encarnacion Strand grounds out into a double play out to short, but Christian Encarnacion Strand, who scored? Spencer Steer scored. In the ninth inning, Hector Rodriguez doubles to center field, and Alfredo Duno ends up scoring in. So it's 13-11. Reese Hines then hits a home run out to left field, scoring in P.J. Higgins and Hector Rodriguez to give the Reds the lead 14-13. So, in hindsight, we are sitting here kind of worried about, and we're sitting on our hands about what Hunter Green is going to go through. But let's look at what the Reds are doing offensively. Guys like Reese Hines, Hector Rodriguez, all participating in success against the Dodgers. I'm sorry, any success is a success against the Dodgers. And that's something that shouldn't be taken lightly, no matter who's out there. And they get a chance to showcase their skills and be a part of what's going on. Nick Senzel, Santiago Espinal was brutal against us yesterday. It was notorious here to watch them play, but it's good to see them have some success. So Jose Franco, who started yesterday's ball game, had pitched a inning and a third. He gave up 2 hits, 1 run, a walk, and struck out a batter. We also saw Pagan early on. He gave up 4 hits, 4 runs. Santion as well, giving up a hit, 3 runs. And Maxwell and Aguilar also pitched in yesterday's ball game. And, it's not going to be the cleanest. I'll be honest with you. Not the cleanest at all. But a win's a win. The Reds moved to 6-4 as the Dodgers moved to 9-4 on spring training. They'll be back at it again today. Where the Reds will take on the San Francisco Giants on the road at Scottsdale Stadium in Scottsdale, Arizona. The Reds come into the spring training action with a 6-4 record and will have left-handed pitcher Andrew Abbott on the mound, while the Giants will enter in with a 9-2 record while they have right-handed pitcher Tyler Mahle on the mound. Mahle is 1-0 with 2 strikeouts on his radar. And here is the upcoming lineup for the Cincinnati Reds coming into today's game. Leading things off in left field is Will Benson. Tyler Stevenson will bat second, doing the catching. The designated hitter, batting third, J.J. Bleday. Sal Stewart will bat fourth at second base. Batting fifth at first base is Nathaniel Lowe. Batting sixth is Dane Myers, who plays center field and right field. Batting seventh is Noelvi Marte. Key Brian Hayes will play third base, batting eighth, and Garrett Hampson will play shortstop, and he'll be batting ninth. Lineups and pitching matchups are scheduled subject to change before first pitch, which is scheduled at 3:05. You can listen to the game on the San Francisco Giants radio or tune into WOW 700. I'm looking at this lineup real quick, and it's not your typical lineup. It's a lineup that you see a lot of secondary starters. You don't have Ellie Dela Cruz. You don't have Matt McClain. You don't have TJ Friedel. You don't have JJ Bleday. It's a lineup that it looks like it's back-ended, right? So I'm assuming, for me, I feel like you got to give Tyler Stevenson some more at-bats and Will Benson some more bats. So I feel like this is how they have pushed these lineups over the last couple of days, right? And it's that, something that hit or miss. We got a lot of spring training left to play. We got nearly 20 days before opening day. You got at least another 2 weeks and then some before we look at this and before opening day against the Red Sox. Man, time is flying by. The Reds will continue action tomorrow, taking on the Kansas City Royals. Nick Lodolo is scheduled to be on the mound. First pitch is at 3:05. And then for daylight savings, that is this Sunday, by the way, we all spring forward an hour. We lose an hour of sleep. The Reds will have their first split squad of the spring training schedule as they will host the Arizona Diamondbacks at Goodyear Ballpark at 4:05 in the game number 1. And then the other game that they have is against the San Diego Padres at Peoria at 4:10. Those both games are free games of the day. You can check out MLB.com for more information. What is going around Cincinnati here to wrap up our show? Let's look at the Bengals real quick. Is there anything going on with Bengals? Not really much. I haven't really seen much revealed. Nope. But no, look, we're 2 weeks away, and I feel like I guess we're in a comfortable position. I'm not hitting the panic button. There's no need to hit the panic button for the Reds. If you are worried about Hunter Green, be worried about Hunter Green. I still think we have a couple other solid options that could step up and at least fill in. One of my options that I thought would be an option here, I would honestly bring up Brett Lauder, bring up Chase Burns, and if you need to, use somebody and get somebody at the trade deadline. I hope it doesn't. It's not a Tommy John situation. But if it's not a Tommy John situation and surgery is not required, the question lurks is, well, how long is he going to take to heal? And when he does heal, how quickly is he able to bounce back? And that would be my concern with this. So I presume that we'll hopefully learn more information over throughout the weekend, and we'll get more status coming up Monday. But this is something that, it is what it is. And I guess it's because it's so early. I'm not too at odds against it. But it does blow. I'm looking into this weekend. I got the grassroots at the Archfield this weekend. So be busy again. We'll come back Monday. We will recap sports. Got a lot of WWE wrestling conversations to have with you. Like to talk a little bit about that. Get you guys ready for the week. If you guys are watching us on our YouTube channel, here's a brief breakdown. We have games going on this weekend. We're getting caught up on publishing games from earlier this week. You could tell that there's a game going on today. Two games going on today. I got two more coming your way, all spread out, and we are going to get those up and caught up to date. Hopefully, so we're not behind. Beginning next week, we got a 2-week stretch of constant games, trying to get all those games done before the new baseball game comes out. It's March 17th, right? Is it March 17th? Yeah, March 17th. I'm thinking we're down here at the middle of the month. But no, March 17th is the new MLB The Show 26 video game. If you got the deluxe edition, you'll get it on Friday, March 13th. So congratulations to those. I'll be looking for a lot. We had to quickly turn around and get everything set up and squared away for what's to come for opening day. I like to get that content started again as well. So that is all the time I have for you guys. Appreciate everyone's support. If you guys are following me on our social media pages, please hit those like button, have that share button on there. Follow if you're not following us. Much appreciated. Get involved in the conversations we have and to the things that we post. Want to hear what you guys have to say for our show. If you guys are listening to us on our audio platforms, please follow. Want to thank you. You guys could download us, take us with you wherever you go, in the car, in the gym, at the office, in bed. If you like to listen to ambiance music, anywhere. Just listen to us. Stay up to date on our sports conversations. Also on our YouTube channel, like, share, subscribe, have those notifications on for more information. But I hope everyone has a nice warm weekend. I know the temperatures are rising a little bit. It's nice outside right now. It kind of stormed earlier this morning. I've been told that we're supposed to have some more weather storms throughout the weekend. I'm like, okay, how is that going to happen? So, uh, I'm not really looking for that, but otherwise, it's supposed to start feeling nice. It's that spring in the air, right? You feel the spring, you feel the dew, the pollen, and you know it's baseball season. You know the season's changing. So we will be back Monday, noon, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Have that on your calendar. We'll cover back up all sports. And until then, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Take care.